Hello. You probably know this already, but scientists are not mad. I mean, they might get mad if they stub their toe or if they get cut off in traffic, but they're not mad like trying to take over the world mad. However, sometimes it is fun to pretend. So today we are going to imagine that I am a mad scientist. I'm going to mess my hair up and I'm going to share with you a scary story. The story is called The Hairy Toe. Now, if you're a younger student, this story might get a little bit horrifying. Please just remember that it is just a story. It cannot hurt you. It cannot get out of the screen. It cannot hurt you, not even one little bit. If you are an older student, this story is probably not scary enough for you. So you can just sit back and enjoy a nice little tale and think about maybe how you could tell it to a younger student of your own. I hope that you enjoy the story of the hairy toe. Oh, one more thing. I need you to participate. I need you to do something throughout the story. When you hear the words, now, you may have been afraid. When you hear those words, I want you to take that screaming cup that you just created. I want you to pull that string through the screaming cup and create the screaming cup sound for yourself. And for everyone else, that will create the right mood for the tale of the hairy toe. Ready? Let's begin. Once upon a time, there was a little old lady who lived in a rickety old house in the middle of the deep, dark woods. Now, you may have been afraid, pull that string, to live in a little rickety house in the middle of the deep, dark woods, but this little old lady was not afraid because she was not afraid of anything. And so one day, she went for a walk down a winding little path in the middle of the deep, dark woods. Now, you may have been afraid to walk down this narrow, winding path in the middle of the deep, dark woods, but this little old lady was not afraid because she was not afraid of anything. And as she was walking along the path, she noticed something up ahead. She bent down and observed it because scientists are always observing the world around them. They're taking very careful note of what it's like. So this lady observed this strange thing in the path, and she noticed that it was big. And she noticed that it was hairy. And she noticed that it looked just like a toe. Now, you may have been afraid to discover a big, hairy toe on a narrow, winding path in the middle of the deep, dark woods, but this little old lady was not afraid because she was not afraid of anything. And so she went upon her way. She walked through the woods. She walked through her strawberry garden. She walked back into her house. And she walked right up to her bedroom because it was getting late and she was getting kind of tired. So that night, before she went to bed, she took that toe and she put it in the drawer right next to her bed, and she closed the door. The old lady pulled up the covers and she snuggled in tight, and she started to go to sleep. But that night, the thunder crashed and the lightning flashed, and in the distance, the lady heard a sound. It sounded like a voice that said, "Who's got my hairy toe?" Now, you may have been afraid to hear that voice saying, "Who's got my hairy toe?" But this little old lady was not afraid because she was not afraid of anything. All the same, she pulled the covers up a little higher and she snuggled in a little tighter and she tried to go to sleep, but still the thunder crashed and the lightning flashed. And then she heard it again, this time a little louder, as if it had come a little closer. "Who's got my hairy toe?" Now, she felt that this thing was coming closer because sound varies inversely with the square of the distance. So because the sound was about 4 times louder, she approximated that it was about 2 times closer. It's about half as far away as it used to be. Now, you may have been afraid to hear that voice getting closer and closer. But this little lady was not afraid because she was not afraid of anything. All the same, she pulled the covers up a little higher and she snuggled in a little tighter and she shut her eyes a little harder and she tried to go to sleep. But then she heard it again. A new sound. The sound of her door opening and closing, and the sound of footsteps coming into her house, and the sound of footsteps coming up her stairs, and stopping right outside her door. Now, you may have been afraid to hear those footsteps getting closer and closer and stopping right outside your door, but this little lady was not afraid because she was not afraid of anything. All the same, she pulled those covers all the way up over top of her head. And she snuggled in as tight as she possibly could. And she tried to go to sleep. But the footsteps came into her bedroom, and the footsteps came right to the foot of her bed. And a huge, hairy hand reached out and grabbed the covers and pulled them back. And there, staring down at the little old lady, was a hideous, hairy beast. And the little old lady, who was not afraid of anything, well, she was very, very afraid. The beast had glowing red eyes and a huge hairy face and sharp white teeth and big long claws. And it pointed one finger out at her and said the words that she was dreading in the very depths of her soul. Who's got my hairy toe? The little lady reached out a hand. She opened up that drawer, took the toe out and held it up to the beast. And the beast snatched it from her hands. And that is the end of our story. You don't get to find out what happened next. That's the end of the story. That's all there is. Now, I hope that you are at least a little bit curious, and that's really important because curiosity is what science is all about. Scientists are people who want to find out. That's the heart of curiosity, and that is the heart of science. If you're the kind of person who loves to discover, who loves to find things out, then you have the heart and the mind of a scientist. So, do you want to find out what happens at the end of the story? Well, I will be happy to tell you. The beast snatched the toe from her and said, "Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. I have been looking all over for that toe. Where did you find it?" And the little old lady said, "On the narrow, winding path in the middle of the deep, dark woods. And the beast said, "Oh my goodness, I am such a dunce. I know I should have looked there. I thought I felt it pop off. Oh, thank you so much for finding that and reuniting me with my toe. I was just on my way back from my strawberry patch and I felt it pop off and I just completely forgot." And the little old lady said, "Strawberry patch? You like strawberries?" And the beast said, "Oh, yes, I love strawberries. I love strawberry jam, especially." And the little old lady said, "Actually, I just made some strawberry jam for my strawberry patch. Would you like to come over on Tuesday and enjoy some strawberry jam?" And the beast said, "Oh, I would love to come over on Tuesday and enjoy some strawberry jam. That is my absolute favorite." And so the beast came over on Tuesday, and the little old lady and the great hairy beast enjoyed some strawberry jam together, and they became the best of friends. The end. Even the question of how to make strawberry jam is a scientific question. You can answer it if you keep that curious mindset. So thank you very much for joining me for the story of the hairy toe. Stay curious, my friends.